Everyone, it's Jane here, just popping on to make some little hidden paper clips. Just wanted to do a little bit of craft this afternoon, didn't have a lot of time, so I thought I would just do a couple of little hidden paper clip ideas, and I thought while I was here I may as well just record it for you so that it's just a little idea of kind of something to do when you've only got 10 minutes. So the things that I kind of picked up from around my desk are just some old scrap bits of paper. They're from like strips that I cut off the end of big sheets of paper when I'm making my mini journal. So I always have lots of strips. So I've kept some of those together, and obviously you're going to need some paper clips. I've found a little bit of lace. I've found a little bit of sari silk. I've also found some tissue paper with a lot of photographs on. I think this is a Tim Holtz piece of paper, but you could use anything like a napkin, like something with a pattern on it, like a napkin, or a piece of scrapbook paper, or a bit of material that you've got hanging around, kind of anything you like really. But these are just the things that I had to hand, so I thought I would just use what I'd got for now. So this is the lacy journal, and these are going to be used in this lacy journal, but you could theoretically make loads of different ones and have them in a pot and just use them as and when. I just don't happen to have any at the moment, so I thought while I had 10 minutes I would just make a few. So I'm just going to level this up a little bit. There we go. So we don't want these to be too big because the journal itself is quite small, so you don't want a big, massive, great big one that is going to kind of overpower the whole journal. And also paper clips that I've got are quite small paper clips, so yeah, these are the paper clips that I have. So we don't want anything too massive because then the paper clip will be tiny and it won't really support anything very much. So the thing to do with these, this is how I do them, might not be how everybody does them, but this is the way that I do them. So first of all, I would put the paper clip in this way around. So you want the big bit of the paper clip, the long leg if you like, on the outside, so that's the one that's going to grip the page, and then you've got the short one on the inside. We're going to just glue this together. So you want to put this so that it's around about the middle. So if you fold it, just kind of eyeball it and see where you are. Now you can either tape that down with a bit of sellotape, or you can do it with a glue stick. I kind of don't really like doing the glue stick so much now because you end up with glue stick and then you've got to put this in and it all gets a bit soggy. So I decided that I would stick this time to my Fabrifix just because it's here and it's working. The other glue I would use is this one, Anita's tacky glue, which is great glue, but I've got a problem at the moment because it's got a bit brown because this seems to have rusted in there, and so I need to get in there and really clean that out. But this, for some reason, won't move, so I've got to wait for my brother to come around and give that a good pull, see if he can get that off. So let's just, for now, let's just use Fabrifix and have done with it. If we can get it moving. Excellent, there we go. Okay, so that's our Fabrifix on, and then we're just going to fold it in half. Now this one, I'm actually going to decorate it once it's together, once it's stuck together, because I just wanted to test whether it's better to do it while we're together or whether it's best to tackle it before we put it together. So just to kind of even this out so that we've got lots of the same edges, I'm going to use my fancy scissors and just cut off that edge. So they're almost going to look a bit like a postage stamp, really. I'm going to get my ink in a sec. Put that there now. So let's decide, shall we? What should we put on here? So this is our little base that we're going to work on. So you could stick a little bit of this tissue paper on. I was going to use these photographs, but the more I look at it, I think actually they might be too big, so maybe not. The other thing I pulled out is some sari silk that I've got, and this has got like newsprints on it. So actually I'm going to use that this time, and let's just see what we've got down at the bottom so we don't waste any. So this has got a bit crunched up. Give it a little pull. Okay. So now I am going to go in with my glue stick. Actually, I'm not going to use that bit because it is crunched up and it's a bit difficult to use. So let's just trim that down. And I'm going to use my glue stick to stick this on because the Fabrifix will kind of come through because it's very thin, the sari silk, and it can make the sari silk go a bit kind of crusty, whereas the glue stick really won't do that. Sorry, I don't know if you can see me. Let's just pop you up here. So that's a bit of sari silk with a little, it's almost like a newsprint kind of idea on there. And then I think what I might do is I dug some of these out the other day, something else I was doing, little flower. So let's put the little flower on while we're here. Might as well use it up while he's on the desk. And you could use little, some of those flat back pearls, or you could use a button. Buttons are really cool for this sort of thing because they'll give you like a little focal point and you can just literally cut them off some old clothes. So they're really great for sort of using up stuff that you wouldn't use for anything else. I've got some buttons somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where they are. I didn't pull them out for this. So rather than hang around too much messing about, I will just ink up the edge of this. This is the really dark brown. I really like this dark brown. It's called Scorched Timber, and it kind of does give that vibe when you've got it. So there we go. That's our little, let's put the lid on that before it starts pouring out all over the place. That's our thingy. That's our other thingy. Right, okay, so that's cool. So let's see what else we've got here. I'm going to use this one because what I might do with this one is put the lace on this one because then the pink will show through. Cool. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this one is thinking about the size of it. First of all, I'm going to be putting in our oops. So yeah, that's not going to be too big. Okay. Right, so just going to cut it down a tiny bit, just because, it's like I said with the other one, I kind of don't want them to be so big that they totally overtake the there we go. Sorry, I'm just struggling to find my words today. I don't want them to overtake the whole thing. So let's just put that to one side. This here. Right, okay. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to stick the lace onto this. And I am going to use the glue stick to do that. That's that. Okay, so let's put down our bit of lace onto here. And I could just leave a little bit hanging off the edge there. That's quite pretty. I'm going to cut the lace off. So that's that. Excellent. And then we're going to put our paper clip on, a bit of glue, I'm just going to fold it in half. Just like that. So we're going to have a little top bit here. It's going to have the frill on it. That's going to be quite nice actually to kind of stick that in there like that. I was thinking maybe I would have that at the bottom, but I've put the paper clip in the wrong way up for that. So I won't be doing that this time. Maybe with the next one, that's what we might think about doing. We've got another little flower here. I've dropped it on the floor. Let's see if I can find it before it disappears somewhere under the table. Let's get it. Okay, that's a little thingy. That's good. So it goes up this way. Let's put a bit of paper. We'll just put on a little flower. There we go. You can just go on like that. And that's fine. Now, I was going to trim that bottom bit, but now we've got our lace on there. I kind of don't really want to do that. So I might just leave it as it is. Or what I could do to kind of make something happening a little bit more interesting at the bottom is just put a little bit of different lace on. So that it's got a little lacy edge at the bottom like that. So I could do that. I've actually got, let me grab my lace bag. I've actually got some lace. Where are you? Is kind of like kind of like scalloped edge. I know I said this last time I got this bag out, and I really do need to sort this lace bag out because it is just a bit of a mess, really. the moment. It's not surprising that I can't find it at the moment because the thingy is a bit of a mess. This one has got like a little yellow ruffly edge. Let me put that on there and see what that looks like. I'll just trim off a little bit. The lacy bag away. So yeah, this has got like a little scalloped edge. It might be quite pretty down the bottom. So I'm going to do that, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to also do this with the glue stick so that we don't get a bit of all that show through that happens. We're just going to do the glue stick. I should have had a little bit of something there to cover up the edges. Let's just put that like that. So that should stick nicely. Once it's dry, it won't be tacky anymore. I'm going to just chop off the end. That doesn't seem to want to stick, does it? Not playing ball with me. Let's just see. Let's just see if we can get it to stick. Put a bit of paper over it. It's just so my fingers don't get stuck. No, that is not playing ball at all. So we'll use fabric then. We're just using a tiny bit so that it doesn't all come through and make a big old mess. Put the right lid on. And get a little bit of lace. We'll stick it on. I'll just get some paper and just spread that out like that. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just put a little line of paper. Let's see if we can stick it to that glue to kind of cover that up. See if that's all, if there's enough there to stick that all down. Oops. These little things are quite fiddly, but I think they do look really pretty when they're done. So this is, I think we're going to call that done now. I'm just going to trim the edges of that off. So it's kind of like that. And then what I will quickly do is just ink the edges that don't have lace on them. So let's just see, just these, it's just so it shows up really when you put it into the book. That's that. There we go. And what I might do is just sort of ink over the bright yellow. I'm not a massive fan of bright yellow, so just sort of dampen it down with a bit of brown ink makes it look a little bit less yellow. So I think that's a good one to do. So just to show you, I'll show you with the one that's drier. I'll pop this one to one side for now. Show you how they work. If you've not seen them before, I'm sure loads of you have seen these a million times before. So you just pop them onto the page like that, and then you can tuck things in underneath. I'm not sure if that was on screen. So yeah, you just pop them on like that, just tuck them down. So it's just a little quick 10 minutes of making hidden paper clips, I guess they're called. I think that's what they actually call them. So they're really fun to do, and if you've just got a spare 5 minutes at the end of the day and you just want to sit down and make something with what's left on your desk, they're ideal for that. So thank you very much for watching. I will catch up with you all again very soon. Please like and subscribe and all of that good stuff if you wouldn't mind. That was really helpful. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.